What's up everybody, Arrg the Pirate here, and today we're gonna play a little phase in the duo lane. As always, let's go over the deck. Now I have healing towers, armored, shredding strikes, auto shield, Bladeturn, and lastly mana fountain for my gems. Now for my cards, I have Lamplighter, Chanting Shaman, Coinmaster, Flame of Zechin, Greenspring, Radiant Healer, Brilliant Fortification, Protective Sentry, Growth Totem, Vital Waters, Yomi Guardian, and lastly Form of Grubbish. Now it seems like forever since I got my hands on FaZe, and you know, I used to be the biggest fan of FaZe. I mastered her before Wukong came out. You know, I used to play her a ton, guys. I was a big support, of course, so you know, it's been a while since I played her, and you know, the V43 changes, I played her right after she got those few changes, and she felt solid, but then they came out with this, you know, the double clicking and confirming the link and things like that, and God, it feels terrible. I really hope they go back and, you know, hey, just don't click if you don't want to pull somebody. I don't know if you could change that, but man, I wish you could. I really think the confirming thing is just absolutely terrible. And I constantly don't know if I'm linked to somebody, and then I'll try to link to somebody, and, you know, I link to the wrong person, and it's, you know, I had it figured out the old way, and they changed it, and oh man, it's definitely going to take a while to get used to that, and since I don't stick with a hero more than a couple of games a month, you know, I'm probably never going to be good with FaZe again. Oh, it feels bad, man. Now, before we get into too much, we actually have an engagement coming up. You can see the enemy Arrg is going in on our black buff, and I'm actually going to head over there. And guys, this is not only good communication with my team, but map awareness. You can see we were already looking that way. We saw Arrg was there before, you know, even our Arrg. Like, as soon as he got vision on that, we saw that, and we were able to make that rotation. So keeping vision on the enemies is absolutely huge. And, you know, that kind of leads me to the next point. Guys, start out with Lance. Picking up Tether in the beginning is pointless now, because you don't get heals through Tether anymore. All it does is pull people out of engagements, and really, the ADC shouldn't be doing crazy things within the first few minutes of the match. And by the time they start doing crazy things, you know, you're 3-4 minutes into the match, and yeah, then you have Link. Like right now, you know, it's 3 minutes in, and we just got our Link. Now we can go ahead and say, hey, ADC, you can play a little more reckless, but if you have that Tether without a heal, it basically does nothing, because, you know, yeah, you've got no abilities to heal with. So definitely start out with Lance, and you can even use that Lance to rush the enemy and, you know, try to get some poke, try to get some damage on them, things like that. Now we are facing off against a support Faye, and guys, I don't know why they think Faye is a good support. I think she's a terrible support. You know, I'm not a big fan of the hero regardless, but, you know, she doesn't offer anything for as far as peel. You know, she's got her little sticky root thing that, yeah, you know, it's inconvenient, but it's really not that big of a deal. And she does have a few little things here and there, but really, you know, I'm just not concerned with her poke, with anything, especially me being FaZe. I can heal up all her poke, and you can see we rush in there to try to get some damage. We take both them down, and even though our Murdoch is suffering more than they are, I'm going to be able to heal him right back up using that Chanting Shaman, so I've got some decent mana regen, and, you know, I'm going to be able to continue to heal him. We're going to be able to stay in lane, and, you know, even though that engagement wasn't as successful as we would have liked, hey, we're not doing bad, and since I am a much better support than Faye, you can see we're doing a lot of damage, and we're having a lot more sustain than the enemy team is. Now, for the next few minutes, it's pretty standard laning stuff, guys. You know, we're just trying to get our root off, you know, heal our ADC up a little bit, and waste that last little bit of mana, get some damage onto that Faye. Go ahead and mute everybody, because I thought it kind of looked like people might get salty. So, you know, I just went ahead and muted so it isn't in the video, and then, you know, come back to lane, and still, it's really just standard laning stuff. Now, as soon as whenever I'm maxed out on mana, I want to go ahead and use an ability, because I do have Chanting Shaman on, you know, so I'm not losing any of that regen, and, you know, the Lance does do a little bit of damage, you know, it does quite a bit more than it used to, so, you know, if you can get that root off and things like that, you know, it turns into a decent ability, and, you know, hey, that's no problem. Now, the enemy team does have wards. You can see here, our Sevarog was heading over, and they instantly start backing up. You know, we went ahead and threw a root out, but, you know, they were at way far distance. You know, we would have never made that happen. So I'm going to just instantly back guys and go ahead and pick up wards. You know, I need a D-ward because we'll never get a successful gank if I don't have wards. And, you know, sure enough, that's what we go ahead and do. With them backing up, you know, I felt it was plenty safe opportunity for me to pick up wards, and get back in the lane before anything, you know, crazy happened. And since I am in comms with everybody but our Quang, you know, I'm able to tell them, hey, you know, I'm going to go grab some wards, you know, you be careful. Sure enough, we go ahead and throw that ward down, and we can see, hey, you know, we have a ward there, and they actually put it a little deeper into our jungle, so we had even less time to make that rotation, and, you know, a simple D ward is all we need. Now, I am not going to use that second ward just yet. I'm going to wait to see if the enemy Fae, you know, D wards my ward, and then I'll just do it again. That way, you know, it kind of frees me up to actually be able to get a gank, because right now, if we're not able to get a gank, you know, it limits us so much in this lane. And, you know, this also really helps us having these wards. It'd have been nice if I would have picked them up earlier, but, you know, I was going for that Greenspring. I really want to work my way towards that Vital Waters so, you know, I can get those improved heals, and then I'm going to kind of work my way towards Grubbish. Now, we do get a root off onto this Fae, and, you know, hey, she throws her ultimate down to save their lives, which, you know, hey, that's great. We took away that ultimate, which is a huge tool on their part, and we're able to do a decent amount of damage, but, you know, I had to back the Murdoch up, and, you know, hey, we're doing the best we can right now. You know, I'm running low on mana, so I don't have just a whole lot to offer right now, and I might be able to use my ultimate and then, you know, kind of heal up, but hey, someone's missing mid and they're missing off lane. We need to back up and just be careful. And sure enough, you can see Sevarog shows up. We're going to go ahead and get a root on him, get some damage on him. I went ahead and just used my ultimate, you know, fill up on mana in case we, you know, something actually happens. Sevarog does stay here in this lane, which, you know, they're all kind of low. And so maybe we can make something happen. We just saw someone back, so, you know, we might actually be able to get this kill. And, you know, Phase's Lance, that root is actually a very solid ability. And you can see, you know, we're actually able to rotate onto that Sevarog and take him out. Which, you know, that's huge, guys. Taking out that Sevarog, and then, you know, Faye kind of dips down a little bit, and we're able to get that root off on her, and I go ahead and just dive the tower a little bit. We're able to take Faye out under tower. You know, that absolutely huge play. We're able to take out the jungle and the support, and we end up going in on this tower. Now, Murdoch is here, and I am out of mana, so, you know, I've only got one heal ability left. You know, I could use a Lance, but it's best just to focus the tower, and sure enough, we're able to focus that tower, get that tower down, and since all four of us are over here, hey guys, it's time to pick up Fang. Now, sure enough, we are able to take out this Raptor pretty much uncontested, you know, with all four of us here, yeah, is no problem at all. We end up heading back to our lane, you know, kind of make sure it's not pushing, and then I'm going to go ahead and back. Now, I put on Vital Waters and Growth Totem, and I need to get back to lane as fast as possible. Sure enough, Murdoch's here. Now, I go ahead and get a long-range root off onto the enemy Murdoch. This allows my Murdoch to head in. I go ahead and throw that ult down. And, you know, Faye uses her fly trap or whatever that thing's called. But, you know, guys, there's no effect on one person. And you can see, this is really why I don't think she's a support. Now, my recording didn't pause there. That's how bad the lag spike was in the actual game. I really hope that they kind of figure out what's going on with the servers. You know, this whole like freezing and the freeze every other second for like a minute and then it goes away. You know, there's definitely some issues that have been popping up, and I really hope we get these fixed, guys, because they drive me crazy. But from here, I'm going to head to my mid lane. You know, we definitely need some assistance here, and with our Wraith, you know, being rotated to that solo lane, you know, someone's definitely got to protect this lane. And I'm just going to stay here and continue to farm until, you know, they kind of rotate back over and, you know, everything gets situated. Now the enemy Sevarog ends up showing up here, and, you know, hey, I probably would have made this call as well, you know, go in on this lone phase, but my team is rotating over, and you can see with our Wraith, with our Sevarog showing up, we just absolutely delete Sevarog. And, you know, hey, that's 2 kills on Sevarog, or 3 kills on Sevarog, you know, pretty early on in the game. You know, that's huge, guys. And, you know, being 15 minutes in, you know, we've shut him down, which Sevarog is, you know, one of those later games heroes. You know, if you allow him to get all those stacks and everything like that, he will absolutely tear you up. Now, I have to head back to mid, you know, with Arsev's kind of in a little bit of trouble, and I'm able to pull him out, go ahead and use that lance, not to just slow the enemies down, but to heal Sevarog a little bit. And from here, I'm going to head over to my Murdoch and make sure he's, you know, safe. He is pushed up a little bit far, but, you know, that's fine. He's turning around to leave, so I'm going to head back to mid lane. Now, unfortunately, our Wraith does get caught out, you know, CC'd, CC'd Oblivion, and, you know, we need to head back to the mid lane to kind of cover it a little bit. I am fairly low on mana, so, you know, there's not a whole lot I have to offer, but we're just going to kind of stick around, make sure that, you know, if I need to make something happen, I can. Our Coin does get caught out, and, you know, he's running through the enemy jungle there, and, you know, I guess he was doing something tricky to escape that steal. So I'm going to head over there, you know, I go ahead and pull him out, and then me, Sev, and Quang actually end up heading back over to this lane, and we're going to hopefully make something happen. You see that steal showed up, and we're able to get that root. I go ahead and use my ultimate. You know, I'm out of mana, so I go ahead and throw my ultimate out there. We go ahead and, you know, try to get a root off, but, you know, we're not really successful in that, but that's quite all right. We end up getting the kill anyways, and from here, gonna back up. You know, I'm out of mana, half dead. You know, I need to get out. But unfortunately, you know, we've got a huge engagement going down over towards that Raptor pit, so we need to all head over there. Now, again, we're not in comms with Quang. It's Sev, me, Wraith, and Murdoch, so we've kind of, you know, we know what each other are doing, and I'm going to head over there as quickly as possible. I did pick up that aqua buff, so I am able to top off on health by the time I get over there, and, you know, hopefully I will regen enough mana to actually make a difference. We did make it in time, so we're not, you know, we don't have to really worry about anything. Wraith and Murdoch were able to kind of hold that wave off, which, you know, hey, that's absolutely huge. But since I am out of mana, you know, we're not going to be able to really make a whole lot of play other than defend. Lucky for us, Sevarog picked up purple buff, and he's actually able to head down, and he singles out the enemy Sevarog, which, you know, hey, that works. And we end up getting, you know, that root as well as that subjugate off on him, and, you know, we kind of keep him in place and allow Murdoch to do his job. Faye, again, she uses her ult to single out one hero instead of trying to get the group, and, you know, this really ends up in just a very, very simple triple kill for us. And we actually ended up getting that gadget downed as well. So, hey, you know, we end up getting 4 of them down. It's time to pick up some objectives. We first start out with Fang, and then, you know, after Fang, we might be able to push a lane. Now, as a team, we decided to pick up Fang instead of shoving down and taking out a T2, and we just went in on that mid and hit, or that mid tower. And so we ended up actually getting all 3 of the T1s down, and, you know, picked up our second Raptor. It's very possible we could have actually got a T2 at that point, especially with 4 of us in communications. But, you know, when you make a decision as a team, you know, hey, go for Raptor, something like that, that's what you need to do. You know, instead of splitting your efforts, go for that one objective, unless, you know, unless you're at the point where you don't have to do that as much. But until you get to that point, you know, make the decision, go for that, and then after that's complete, you know, you can go for something else. Now, we end up getting into an engagement onto that gadget, and, you know, that was a great Sevarog ult, you know, that root allowed him to close that distance, but unfortunately, she was able to get out. Steel came in, you know, he kind of messed our plans up and allowed Gadget to get away, but he sacrificed himself for that. And, you know, Steel is running full damage. He ends up going like Red Zone and Deathcrawler here in a little bit. And, oh man, he's tough to deal with. But we did take him out. And, you know, hey, we've got the enemy team on staggered deaths now. You know, we've got their support down again. We've got their solo lane down again. And we're able to take down that mid tower. And, you know, that's huge. Getting their jump pads, you know, taking away their jump pads is absolutely huge. Especially since we only have one T1 down at the moment. Now, Feng is up again, so, you know, hey, it's time to go for Feng. You saw I pulled Quang out because, you know, our team left him, and, you know, he didn't quite know that yet. So, you know, go ahead, pull him out. And that really, when as FaZe, people might get mad when you pull them around. I know I'm definitely one of them. But when you pull someone out of a situation like that, 9 times out of 10, they'll just be mad at you and won't go back in. And, you know, hey, that sometimes you gotta take that as a support. You know, not everybody's gonna like your decision, but him staying engaged all the way up there with all of us missing was a very, very poor choice. And, you know, taking him out of that situation is huge for us. Now, we need to rotate elsewhere, you know, getting pushed up that far with, you know, the entire enemy team still up. You know, we need to just get away from that situation. We're going to kind of look around and try to find somewhere where maybe we can get a kill, something like that. Now, coming up is a great example of just a really poor engagement. Now, I do pick up purple, and I'm trying to get my team to take out the ward under Prime, but it's just not quite working. And then, you know, everything's kind of happening. Our Sevarog comes in. He ends up actually knocking Gadget away from us, and then our Murdoch runs into the enemy jungle to help, you know, to try to take out that Fae, and Steel ends up showing up, and Steel's got red zone on, guys, so he's absolutely deleting us. And, you know, I'm trying to, you know, body block for my team, you know, just kind of be the threat that they need me to be, and, or, you know, just an easy target for them to take out. That way my team can get out. And sure enough, Wraith and Sevarog are able to get out. But you could see how, you know, that was red zone. So they were able to just delete us right there with red zone. You know, we're all kind of, I don't think we realized that he had red zone on at this time. But you could see we went into that engagement just very poorly. You know, that knocking Gadget away from the team is just going to allow her to come back into us later. You know, our Murdoch running in and being the front line. We just really made some bad calls on how that fight should engage. And then not to mention, you know, it wasn't in a friendly area either. We were very deep into the enemy jungle. And, you know, that was just a poor engagement. And, you know, it was executed very poorly with that Steel ult coming in and, you know, ruining any chance we had of, you know, having a successful fight. You know, just those are the type of things that you definitely want to try to avoid. Now, I did speed a lot of that up because, you know, it's kind of boring stuff, but we would not have been able to contest that Fang, and we shouldn't either. You know, we can let them have that Fang. We've got 3 so far. You know, let's get our lane situated. Let's get ready for this push. You know, they were able to pick up Prime, so, you know, we definitely have to be aware of that. And, you know, this could be very bad for us. You know, they're still coming in with them having Prime, you know, paired with a Fae ult. This could be potentially terrible for us. Now, our Quang is going in on to that Steel a little bit, and you can see Gadget Bomb that was able to take him out. You know, you have to be very careful of red zone, guys. And I do have Grubbish on, which, you know, I just don't get to use it how I would have liked on Steel this time. You can see he's able to hit our Wraith with that ultimate, you know, take him out. You know, that hurts. And then, you know, Steel's able just to absolutely delete Murdoch. And I actually used my ult not thinking, not realizing that I wasn't hooked to Murdoch. And guys, that's, again, that's one of those things that I'm completely unaware that I'm not linked to somebody. Just with this new, you know, confirm and the link's not as visible as it used to be, everything like that, I really wish it went back to that old ways. But we actually get a team wipe here. And, you know, at this point, I was like, man, it's GG. We do have a Winion wave on that T1 or on that T2. But, you know, with a team wipe like this is going to hurt to come back from. Our Quang is about to show back up. But, you know, this hurts, guys. Now, I don't like to give up games, and, you know, with 4 of us in comps, you know, I tell everybody, hey, I'm just not in the mood to give up. Like, we still got a chance, you know, so it's just 1 inhib. Sure, it's the mid inhib, but it's just 1 inhib, no problem. We still got tier 2s up. Like, we got this. So, I'm not going to give up. You know, we just need to be aware of that Steel ultimate. And you can see Steel's heading over to that Raptor pit, and he's able to ult in. You know, it does quite a bit of damage, but guys, look, we melt Steel. You know, I don't understand why people use red zone. I think it's just so terrible. But this does allow us to pick up Raptors pretty easy, and, you know, we get our 4th Rap, which, you know, this is a huge advantage for us. You know, we're quite a bit ahead on power as a team, you know, with all those buffs, everything like that. You know, we're sitting at a 12-point card when they just have a 4-point card, kind of. And, you know, taking down Steel, we're going to win the next team fight as long as he's not there, because, you know, not only do we have 5 up, but, you know, we don't have to worry about that insane CC only from Faye. But since Faye is their support, you know, she's not quite as fed as, you know, a mid lane would be. So, you know, hey, we might have this. Now, we need to get out of mid. You know, there's too much going on in mid. We don't need to push that. You know, there's 4 of them here. You know, let's get out of mid. Let's not, you know, risk that. And we can find somewhere else. You know, we kind of end up playing the runaround game for a little bit, but there's no reason for us to stay in mid when their entire team is there waiting to, you know, counter push us. So for the next little bit, we're just kind of running around, making sure nothing's happening. You know, I'm really looking for Steel. I'm terrified of Steel right now. You know, as soon as he shows up, you know, we're goners. And, you know, sure enough, he shows up. You see that little red glow, and oh man, you know, his ultimate and his stun, and, you know, a couple of hits, he almost kills me. I get stuck with the gadget bomb, but I was able to get my ult off onto our Murdoch before I went down, which, you know, that did help him secure a couple of those kills there. And we actually end up flipping this fight, and, you know, we end this fight we actually end up winning it, and, you know, that's great. You know, we take out their Faye. You know, we really split their team up. You can see their front line, their Sevarog was way in the front of the fight, and their damage dealers were way in the back when our front line was kind of in the middle. So, you know, it was a very strange team fight. Steel, I think if he would have waited to go in just a little bit longer, they would have probably won that team fight, you know, ended the game right there. But fortunate for us, you know, hey, we won that team fight, and our Quang and Sevarog are able to push down this mid lane and take out this mid inhib. So now, you know, hey, we're even on inhibs, but you can see we've got those minions pushing into both those T2s. So we go from, you know, losing to actually winning this tower game. Now, I did go ahead and take off Growth Totem and put on Protective Sentry, and you might go, hey, Pirate, that's terrible. Why'd you do that? Well, I'm terrified of this Steel, guys. He's got Deathcrawler and Red Zone on. You know, I'm terrified of him. So I can't really, you know, trust in Wraith's warding at the moment. You know, like I just would rather have my wards down. And, you know, we definitely need to focus this Steel, because if we can focus him, take him out early on, we could actually, you know, make some huge progress. And, you know, to be quite honest, Steel's a very easy target running around with red zone. So we just need to be aware of him, you know where he is, and we can actually make some progress. Now, you can see our team was going in onto Raptors, and, you know, our Quang DC'd, which, you know, we're kind of at a big disadvantage, you know, in this 4v5 situation. So we have to be, you know, careful of that. Steel shows up, and Severog uses that ult. I'm able to hit him with Grubbish, and yeah, oh, he gets melted, guys. You know, that's red zone is a terrible card. Please take it out of the game, Epic. But we end up, you know, this was a pretty scary team fight situation we're in. You know, we're in a 4v5 situation. We're able to just delete Steel, and we end up, you know, taking out 3 members of their team with only losing a Wraith. And, you know, we're going in on this gadget, and we almost get her with that subjugate, but again, my Lance comes off a cooldown. We're able to take her out fairly easy. And me, Severog, and Murdoch, you know, we're just going to shove this mid lane. With having that other inhib down, we're thinking, hey, we might be able to just shove this and actually, you know, win this game. And hopefully we can get that done before these, you know, before the team ends up spawning back in, because we don't know if Quang is actually going to come back or not. Now, we make the best effort we can to, you know, get this pushed into the core, but we're just not able to do that. Not with, you know, we were basically just 3-man, you know, 3-manning that situation. So we go ahead, back up, pick up another Fang, and we'll have to try it again later. Now, for the next couple of minutes, you know, we're kind of running around, going, you know, what are we going to do? Because we really got to be careful of Steel. You know, Steel's dying every time he's ulting in, but the thing is, he's taking someone with him. So we really have to avoid that Steel ult. You know, we need to stay spread apart and, you know, just be very wary of where he is. You know, I'm definitely throwing down those wards. You know, I want to keep vision on him. I'm using my Lance to try to pop those spell shields as much as possible. You can see here I'm trying to get it off of that Fae. And that you know, I'm not trying to engage on the fight. I'm just trying to remove those spell shields. That way, when we do want to engage, we actually can. And luckily, Quang did show back up. You know, that's huge, guys. It's absolutely amazing that he showed back up. And hopefully, we'll be able to actually end this game on a, you know, good note. Now, we are kind of, you know, in that standstill. We don't really know what's going on, but Prime is about to land, so we go over there, and, you know, we were just kind of planning on baiting Prime, but the Quang decided, hey, let's just go for it, and hey, that works for me. Faye, again, you know, she used her ult on a single person, which, you know, hey, that hurts. And someone, I don't know, someone has a domain of stillness, and, you know, they popped that, but hey, it didn't save Faye's life. We were able to take her out. And, you know, from here, you know, we're going to continue marching down. Now, Steel is behind us somewhere. So, I'm going to pull Murdoch out, and I go ahead and tell my team, you know, y'all be careful. Steel's somewhere. He just took Fang. You know, we need to be aware of where he is. And sure enough, he popped up over in that duo lane. So, let's single him out. You know, he's the engager. He's the scary guy of the enemy team. Well, let's take him out now. Murdoch kind of ran around a goofy way, so I'm going to head that way. And again, guys, there's that stupid confirm stuff. I had him linked, and then it wanted me to confirm it. Man, they need to fix this, guys. It's terrible. It's terrible. I don't know who thought this was a great idea, but you're wrong. And so, you know, Steel is under tower. Now, we need to focus him. And I get that root on him, and then I go ahead and hit him with the bug. You know, he does ult, but, you know, the damage is done, guys. You know, at that point, he ulted to try to save his own life, and, you know, we were able to take him out no problem. Now, I did sacrifice myself to take out Steel, but, you know, that's quite all right. You know, that's perfectly okay. Taking out Steel is what we needed to do. Now we can start winning fights, especially since we were able to follow that Steel death up with that Severog death. You know, our team's still very, very strong, and they've got 3 heroes down now. So, you know, that was a great play, and you could see focusing that red zone is absolutely huge. Well, this match is pretty much over, so before it does wrap up, you know, FaZe is still a very good hero. I think she needs to be changed back to where you don't have to confirm things. Guys, who thought of that? That's terrible. But, you know, she's still very solid. You know, that root, you can really engage on people with that. And, hey, she does a decent amount of damage for being a support, and, you know, it's got crazy long range. Now, guys, I am working on the support and ADC guide, and I'll be out soon, but that's going to wrap it up for this phase video. If you did enjoy, show me some love, leave me a comment, think about subscribing, join our Discord, I'd love to play with some of y'all, and as always, guys, I'll see y'all in the next video.